Begin with the entrance exam of the Ghana School of Law is underway on the University of Ghana campus. An application seeking to halt the exams by 11 LLB graduates was dismissed by an Accra High Court on Thursday. Now, if you were hoping the entry process into the Ghana School of Law will change soon, sorry, that will not happen, as the registrar of the school, Nana Osei-Bonsu, has hinted. The school, he says, has initiated the processes to make the exams and interviews constitutional. He's been speaking with Joy News' Maxwell Agbagba.
Processes have been initiated,
okay,
and whatever processes that is put in place by 2018 will be constitutional.
So you'll be taking this to Parliament to make it constitutional?
We will do that. We have initiated the process already. We've done a lot of consultation. We'll continue the consultation, and we'll look at processes that will be constitutional.
So you're not even looking at, stopping it anytime soon?
No, but that's why I asked you, when we stop it, how are you going to admit 1,400 people?
Okay.
How are you going to do that? There should be a process. That's what I'm saying. The Supreme Court says that it should come out with a process. And we're going to do that. We are going to make sure that whatever process that we come out with is constitutional. We respect the Constitution, respect the Supreme Court decision. We'll go by that.
Okay.
That is the challenge. We have 1,424 people taking the examination.
That's today?
That's today.
Okay.
There's a question of capacity. Okay, so that is what we should look at.
On that capacity, I want to find out what's the capacity of the Ghana, School of Law.
No, as at now, we can take about 500 people.
500. Is it a problem of infrastructure? So such that if we expand the infrastructure, then you'll be in a position to admit more law students.
It's both a question of infrastructure and a question of availability of quality or qualified lecturers to teach. We have a problem with lecturers. Even for the faculties, we have a problem of lecturers, and also with the law school. So if you have a limited number of lecturers, okay, you cannot, because they will break down. So it's a question of infrastructure and lecturers.
Okay, so back to the fundamental question. Granted that the infrastructure of the Ghana School of Law is, expanded, and then we also provide the human resource by increasing the number of lecturers. Will the Ghana School of Law be in a position to admit more law students and then possibly, remove the interview and then the examination system?
As for removing the interview and examination system, I'm not sure that's the wisest thing to do.
Okay.
Because obviously there should be a criteria to select people who are coming. We can increase the capacity by getting more lecturers, by expanding the facilities and increasing the intake. But there should be a way to select. There should be a way to, and don't forget, when you want to do your LLB in Legon or KN University, you go to an examination.
A lot of people think that, yes, some people think that it is fair. Others think that the interview session, people just use their discretion. And there are times that we understand that questions like how many lawyers you have in your family have actually come up. How do you judge the competence of, an interviewee based on the number of lawyers in his family?
No, I think that people are just, stretching the point. Interview is a process. A lot of questions are asked. One of them may be there just to, you see, sometimes when the people come into the hall or into the interview panel, they are tensed up. So you ask some of these questions just to relax the person.
Now, the application by the 11 prospective lawyers followed a Supreme Court ruling that the entry process of the school was unconstitutional. The Apex Court had ruled that even though the exam and its subsequent interviews were unconstitutional, it does not want to disrupt the process for the academic year, hence will allow it to pass this year. The court, however, urged the school to initiate steps to make it legal for the subsequent years. Some of the LLB degree holders writing the paper are not enthused about the rigorous process they have to go through to become lawyers. First is managing editor of the Daily Searchlight newspaper, Ken Kranche, who is writing the paper.
I think it is a general societal problem that we have. The fact of the matter is that we need to train more professionals. We need to train more doctors, more lawyers, more architects, more of everything, so that we can improve the quality of life of our people. I think that the conditions for acceptance into the law school are a bit stringent. If our leadership the General Legal Council can look at it and make it better. There are ways you can do it without necessarily compromising on quality.
No, and it is not easy to even go through the LLB as a course. It's very difficult. So if this system is in place which cannot absorb about 70%, 80% of the applicants. We think there's something wrong with the system, which I think that's why Prof is fighting at the court to have certain things being done right.
And if our superiors are saying something which is illegal, unconstitutional, and they still want us to come and write the exams, we are afraid that we are condoning and conniving with an illegality. And that is not a good practice for us coming up, because we are learning from them. Something which is illegal and unconstitutional, why do you? It's like you telling someone who goes to steal that stealing is an offense, right? Okay, today, go and steal, but tomorrow you can't go and steal.
Those are definitely some unhappy law students there. But police at Tesano in Accra are saying they will intensify patrols at La Paz following a daylight armed robbery incident there that killed one of their officers and injured another yesterday. The two officers were on patrol duties when the robbers opened fire on them following an interaction with them. Beatrice Edu has the latest on this one.
I'm right here at the La Paz traffic light where yesterday there was this fatal incident where two armed robbers shot dead one police officer, and then another who we are learning is currently receiving treatment at the hospital. This is the exact spot where this incident happened. On my right hand you can see some stains on the road, and those stains, if we were here yesterday, you would have noticed that those stains represent the blood of the officers who were shot yesterday. Where it happened when the officers realized that these robbers, suspected robbers I must say, were using unregistered motorbikes, and so they as part of their operations and arresting or questioning those who are using unregistered motorbikes, decided to chase them, give them a hot chase. I'm currently here with the Tesano District Police Commander Edward Kojo Tete, and he will tell us more because he was actually at the scene yesterday when it happened. Hello, sir. Welcome to Joy News.
Thank you very much.
So we are at the exact scene where your officers were shot. Tell us exactly how it happened.
Okay, it happened. We had an information yesterday around 1:20 p.m. That some policemen had been shot by some armed robbers. We quickly moved in, and when we came, we saw 3 motorbikes at the scene. We followed up to La Community Hospital, which is very close by. And then through our investigation, we realized that the 2 policemen were on their normal patrol duties, on their motorbike, official motorbike. They saw these armed robbers on the motorbike, unregistered motorbike. They stopped them, they didn't stop. So they decided to give them a hot chase. One of the policemen, who is called Jibril Al-Hassan, he was catching up on them. So they realized that he may arrest them. They gave a shot, and the shot had his right hand. He fell on the pavement, and then he quickly ran to the La Community Hospital, knowing that there is a close hospital around. So that at this moment, the other policeman, who is also called Owusu Daniel, also got to the scene. By then, these robbers had become daring. So they shot Owusu on the chest, and he fell. He also fell on the pavement, and then they shot in his stomach, and he was taken to the police hospital, but unfortunately he lost his life. So now that this has happened here, we are more going to be vigilant and then intensify our patrols in the vicinity to curb such a situation.
So you're going to pay special attention to La Paz here?
Exactly. The administration is going to pay special attention to La Paz here.
Beyond this, one of the things we were also talking about was the fact that police, your men didn't even know that these robbers, suspected robbers, had weapons on them. Would this inform your operation? Would this cause you to review how you operate moving forward?
You know, normally crime trend changes, and as they change, we also change our strategies. So we are studying this trend, and then, if possible, change the way we do our things.
To some good news from Kumasi now, where coach of Asante Kotoko, who has been on admission for the past 3 days after sustaining varying degrees of injuries in Wednesday's road accident, has successfully been operated on. Love FM's Richard Echampon, who spoke to Joy News earlier, indicated the coach and 2 others who are on admission are recuperating well. All other players involved in the accident have all been treated for minor injuries and discharged since Thursday, 13th July. A number of them left the hospital in crutches, though. They are, however, to return on Saturday, for a review. Let's now go live to Kumasi, where Love FM's Delali Atiase is standing by with the latest on the status of those in admission. Delali, thanks for joining us. Now, you have been to the hospital. What have the doctors been saying about those on admission?
All right, we are currently here at the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital, and I've had the opportunity to speak to Dr. Michael Leeds. He is the leader of the medical team that is working on the Kotoko officials and the players. And he tells me that the 2 individuals, Coach Steve Pollack and that is the driver, Nana Bechi, have had a successful operation. In fact, yesterday when we came here, Nana Bechi could not even talk, but Dr. Leeds tells me that today he's been able to talk. He's been able to speak to his relatives. They've been here to see him. And so also is it about Coach Steve Pollack. He's also been able to talk, and he's been able to even ask for, I was told that he woke up today and then asked the doctor whether the guys are getting ready for the match on Sunday. Probably he's not aware that the Premier League board has postponed the match between Kotoko and House of Folk on Sunday. And so it all seems to be good news. I also inquired about how midfielder Shite Oleno is also doing, and I'm told that he had a broken rib, but he's been worked upon and he's also doing very well. So I mean, this is the information I picked up from the doctor. But a while ago, I saw goalkeeper Isaac Amakon also pass by. I went closer to him to find out how he was doing. He's still got a cervical collar around his neck, and he's got one of his eye is still red, very, very red. He told me that they were going to see an eye specialist. They came back, and it's gone back inside the accident and emergency ward. I guess that they want to do more assessment on him. So that's the latest that we can report about here at the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital. And then also, let me put it on record that members of the Premier League board, led by Mr. George Amakon, as well as the Vice Chairman of Galka, Alex Akome, have also been here. They are still inside with the officials of the doctors trying to, commensurate with the Kotoko officials who are here.
So did you catch what they've been saying with the doctor and the patients? I mean, the members of Galka and the Premier League board.
No, we've not been allowed to go inside there with them, and so we are waiting for them to come out. Then we'll get to know exactly what transpired when they were inside.
Right. Thank you very much, Delali Atiase. But Delali, before you go, what's the general atmosphere in the hospital at the moment? Have any other persons been there? Are people still amassed there to support the players?
No, the crowd has reduced as from what we observed yesterday. But I'm being told that members of the Professional Football Association, led by Tony Bafu, will also be here. Maybe will also be here in the next maybe 1 hour to also come and take a look at firsthand how the guys are feeling. But overall, I would say that now people have come to the conclusion that yes, indeed, this is what has happened to the team, and they are just hoping that they will be able to come over it so that they will see their team back playing.
What of the reaction of the public to what government has been doing in terms of taking up some of the costs and of the funeral and what have you?
I think that they've been very happy. They've been very satisfied. If you monitor programs on radio, if you monitor sports programs on radio, you get to know that when it gets to the phone-in segment and the fans coming to come and talk, they've showed they appreciate what the efforts of government, because only yesterday when the regional minister came, they made a donation of 10,000. The sports minister, he acted so swiftly. He was here yesterday from Accra, drove all the way from Accra. He was here around 1 p.m. We came here to the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital. He also donated 10,000 cedis as well. And wishes have come on Twitter from His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo, from the former President John Mahama. And with all this, I guess that they are satisfied so far with the reaction of Ghanaians towards this accident.
Thank you very much, Delali Atiase. Keep your eyes on the ground there in Kumasi for us. We'll come back to you. Let's go to the phone lines now and speak with Ohiming Teria, who has the latest on the efforts that the police are making to investigate what exactly happened during the truck accident on the Nkoko Road. Ohiming, thanks for joining us. Now, earlier we were hearing that the Kia truck driver, was in the custody of police. What's his status now?
Thank you, Danny. As we speak now, Mr. Francis Abbas, the driver who was in charge of the Kia Rhino truck with registration AS 732113, has been assisting police investigations. When I spoke to Superintendent Yaya Musherano, the Nkoko Divisional MTPD commander, what he did indicate is that the driver has not been detained or arrested, but instead he has been assisting police investigations. And because the fertilizer that the truck was carrying, the thermally bound truck, they think that the fertilizer is perishable, so they needed to transfer the fertilizer into another truck so that the vehicle will be available for testing in the presence of the driver as required by our traffic regulations. And he also did say that there are speculations all over that people have been speculating that the driver of the Kia truck, Kia truck was stationary or parked in the middle of the road. But he says the vehicle was in motion. So for police investigators, what they do know is that the driver has not committed any offense for him to be charged. I mean the Kia truck driver, and that the vehicle was in motion and it wasn't parked as being speculated. And for now, he has not been charged because they are still investigating though, but they haven't seen any offense that this particular driver has committed to warrant police preferring charges against him. So then, this information I have taken from the Nkoko Divisional Police Command.
Right, so since he has not been charged and he's not even under suspicion of doing anything wrong, where is the driver now? Is he living on his own or he's with the police?
He's not with the police. He's living on his own. Yesterday, for instance, he and his driver's mate were at the police station to give statements. So they have already given their statement to police, and they are, expected to be bailed. And that is what is required by the Road Traffic Act. It says that when a driver's vehicle is involved in an accident, and the driver is also involved in the accident, he is expected to give statement to police, avail himself for further investigations, and also provide or allow his vehicle to be tested. So he's now in Nkoko and not in police custody, but rather assisting police in investigations. Do we know how long he'll be required to stay in Nkoko? That would be difficult. If police are able to send the vehicle for testing today, what it means is that, yes, he may be allowed to continue his journey, but don't forget he was bound for Tamale. But unfortunately, another vehicle has taken over the goods that he was sending to Tamale. So I wouldn't be surprised to hear that maybe from today he's allowed to go back to his family. Right, thank you very much, Ohiming Teria, for that report. He's bringing us the latest there from Nkoko, where, as you just learned, the police are just cooperating with the driver of the Kia truck that was involved in the accident with Kumasi Asante Kotoko's bus. We'll take a short break, but when we come back, tomorrow is World Youth Skills Day. If you're a young person and you're watching me, do you feel you are ready to take on a job? If you're a parent, do you feel your children are ready to take on jobs? We'll take some advice after this. Thanks for staying with us. Now, this is just coming in on the La Paz shooting story. The IGP, David Asante Apietu, has announced a 10,000 Ghana cedi reward for persons who assist the police with information on the guys who killed the police officer. A man on the ground is Joseph Akable. He is going on a tour with the IGP. We'll be speaking with him before the bulletin is over. But in the meantime, like I said, tomorrow is World Youth Skills Day, and the United Nations Assembly has said existing systems and methods of training are failing to address the learning needs of many young people. The Assembly adds learning outcomes and skills show that a large number of youth have low levels of achievement in basic literacy and numeracy. That is why the global body is focusing on skills and jobs in the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. The SDG targets 4.4 calls for a substantial increase in the number of youth and adults who have the relevant skills to meet the demands of the job market. So what is the situation here in Ghana? Hannah Odami explores.
Young people all over the world have very interesting dreams. Sometimes very ambitious dreams about life and the careers they plan to pursue. But a growing trend is emerging in Ghana where many young people end up in industries or sectors they didn't train for.
My friend here, Sreda, in the University of Ghana studying history and information studies, tells me she wants to be a teacher. Then why didn't you just enter teacher training school?
Well, growing up, I saw all my siblings go to the university, and then I wanted to go to the university. That was my first reason to experience university.
Sreda Etiamwa believes that having a university degree will give her some leverage as a teacher.
In Ghana, you realize that teachers are not really paid attention to. You always hear teachers going on strike. So even going into that profession alone is one that I had to deal with.
Some have blamed this trend on the limited opportunities which exist on the competitive job markets in Ghana. Meet Yusuf Issa, a young professional who studied visual arts but now finds interest as a social media executive at Hits FM.
Where did the interest come from, visual arts and then social media executive?
I think the interest grew from how I like to play with stuff on the internet and how I have this desire of sharing or spreading information across and in a very fun way.
Have you thrown away everything you learned in visual arts or sometimes put it into practice?
I sometimes put it into practice occasionally.
Will you ever go back to it?
Yeah, I think I'll consider that.
Some will also say that the connection between school and work, probably it's not there. You study one thing, you come out and you do not have the jobs available, so then you venture into a field that you don't really like. Did it happen to you in your case?
No.
Unlike Yusuf, however, Sreda understands that this form of education prepares her to function better in the work environment.
My course specifically doesn't have a profession. If you history, after graduating with a degree doesn't make you a historian. I think most of us are doing the course, and then when we come out, you have to find a job which is related to whatever you studied.
For human resource practitioner Dr. Ellen Hagan, who has trained a lot of talents to fit the diverse human resource needs that exist in industry, skills development and training in a specific field does not necessarily guarantee success.
I do admit finding out what your dream is, what you want to do in life, is difficult. But the best study of man is man himself. Sometimes you don't realize that you are good at certain things, so you need to rope in your friends, find out what you enjoy doing, and then gradually discover yourself, and then pursue what your dream is.
She believes the country will be the overall beneficiary when skills are nurtured to fit industrial needs. Thus, the need for the country to rethink its educational system to bridge the skills gap.
Internship should be an intentional methodology of upgrading the skills of the youth. So we don't want them to be thrown into companies and then left to their own devices, send this file to this place, go and make photocopy, all the time. There must be some deliverable, some coaching, some, training given to them, on-the-job training, that will make them better than when they got in.
Her advice to Sreda, Yusuf, and many more youth is?
Our university and our training, our educational system makes us specialize too early. When you're in the secondary school, you either have to choose science or arts. By the time you are doing your BEC, you are going one way or the other. And most of our young people, you're asking them to choose when they haven't really discovered themselves. We should be able to have a situation where somebody can study science or arts and then decide later on that, oh, I want to be an engineer after all.
With the hashtag Skills for All, the theme for this year's celebration is aimed at raising awareness about the importance of youth developing skills. The key words here are identifying talents, nurturing it, and utilizing it to the best of your abilities for your community and the country as a whole. Hannah Odame for Joy News.
Now, on his part, Executive Director of Youth Bridge Organization, which is a youth-focused organization supporting them with resources needed for total development of the youth in general, is encouraging young people to change their mindsets about non-formal employment and entrepreneurship. He also expressed the need for persons involved in this sector as well to improve their level of education. He was speaking on Joy News Desk today.
In the youth, there is hope. So such people can be strengthened, can be supported to look at technical vocational education. This year's budget has an excellent provisions for TVET promotes technical vocational education. Now, we have to support them. And not to forget that he had some basic level education. Can we go back with adult literacy program, help them measurement? Otherwise, you can't fix something in your room.
They won't be precise.
They won't be precise. Let's look at some form of literacy programs for them at the grassroots. Integrate that. There is hope.
Now, we will now go back to the La Paz shooting story because the IGP, David Asante-Apietu, has announced a 10,000 Ghana cedi reward for persons who assist the police with information on the guys who killed the police officer. The IGP is currently visiting the injured officer and also assessing the situation. Now, you heard in that earlier report by Beatrice Edu that the police will now be taking a closer look at La Paz because that area has now become an area of concern for them. And now it looks like they are leaving no stones unturned in finding the persons who have killed the police officer. Now, this happened yesterday, that is on Thursday, in La Paz here in Accra.